Hello everyone, and welcome to the third and final instalment in the Play Your Part webinar series. My name's Maeve McLaughlin, and I'm a Play Participation Officer for PlayBoard NI. Our first two webinars looked at play and participation, and this webinar will recap on the importance of play, explore participation further, and look at the Play Your Part toolkit. Some of the key learning points from the first two webinars. We know that play is a right for all children and young people. We know that play helps with their development and their growth. And to assist with this development, we as practitioners need to provide a quality play provision and a play-enriched environment for those children and young people. As practitioners, we know that reflective practice is the ability to reflect on one's actions so as to engage in a process of continuous learning. We do this a lot in play work and youth work. As practitioners, we do four main things. We reflect in action, which takes place during the activity. We reflect on action, which happens after the event has occurred. We reflect on in action, so thinking about our future actions with the intention of improving or changing our practice. And finally, we reflect before action. So it takes place after the event has happened, but we reflect on our preparation. We watch and we observe, we reflect and we change, and we amend when and where necessary. Reflective practice can be carried out by observing children and young people too. When play workers reflect during activities, it involves paying attention to what's going on, observing thoughts and feelings, whilst also keeping our attention moving with what else is happening. This may involve being conscious of our behaviours, our expressions and our feelings, and checking that they are not having an impact on the play environment. It is important that children and young people are also given the opportunity to reflect on the participation process to draw conclusions on it. There are different mechanisms to enable reflective practice. It can be done through individual conversations, focus groups, or games and activities. When young people are reflecting on a process of participation, creating a playful space may help them to feel more comfortable to express themselves. Having appropriate mechanisms in place to provide feedback to children and young people who have taken part in the participation process is essential. However, it is also important to gather feedback from those children and young people on how the process of participation has gone. When young children have taken part in the participation process or activities, it may be appropriate to gather their feedback through playful activities in which they feel comfortable and to be able to communicate without barriers. Finally, the evaluation of a participatory process requires reflective practice from both the youth workers and the children and young people who have taken part in it. Reflecting together on the participation experience is a very important tool for any team in order to clarify thinking, recognize change, and expand their understanding. Reflective practice is a process by which we stop and think about what we do. We continuously analyze what we have done and draw conclusions in order to relate it to our day-to-day work. Within the toolkit, we talk about Tresidier's 1997 circular model of participation. The circular design of the levels of participation offers a non-hierarchical approach in which participation is adapted to different circumstances, different age groups, and different capacities. And it lends itself a lot to what was talked about in the second webinar. The 5 spokes of the model are children and young people initiated and directed. Children and young people initiate shared decisions with adults. Adult initiated shared decisions with children and young people. Assigned but informed. and children and young people are informed and consulted. Let's take a look at them in more detail. Child initiated and directed. So children and young people have the initial idea and decide how they would like the project to be carried out. Adults are available for advice and support, but do not direct the process. Child initiated shared decisions with adults. Children and young people bring forward their own ideas and work together with adults to set up the projects. Adults are available for advice and support, but do not direct the process. Adult-initiated shared decisions with children and young people. Adults have the initial idea, but involve children and young people on its planning and implementation, being fully involved in making decisions. Assigned but informed. In this type of participation, adults decide on the project and ask children and young people to volunteer for it. Adults provide all the information necessary for children and young people to understand the project and assign different tasks or activities for children to undertake. And finally, consulted and informed. The project is designed and run by adults, but children and young people are consulted through different means. Thinking back to the continuum that was spoken about in the first webinar, our adult-led and our child-led play, I would like you to take a little moment to think about what is your role in the setting when it comes to participation. Think about what you would like it to be. And think how this could change. Think about the 3 C's. Is your role child-led participation? Do you take a collaborative approach? Do you consult with your children and young people? What would you like it to be from attending the 2 webinars? How do you think you can embed and improve a culture of participation within your setting? We're now going to look at methodical approaches to participation. These are listed within the Play Your Part toolkit, and there are various methods that we have identified. Observation, talking and listening, scrapbooks and maps, draw and tell, peer research, recording, games, music and movement, and reflection and practice. Children and young people communicate in many different ways. Therefore, a range of fun, interesting, and child-friendly activities can be used to enable participation. For example, you could have some circle time, storyboards, storytelling and discussion, Chinese whispers for your talking and listening. For your recording approach, you could do a reporter for the day, you could do some picture perfect participation, or even roving reporters. There's lots of activities for each of those 9 categories, all listed within the toolkit. The toolkit provides in-depth and comprehensive information on activities and games for participation, and we hope that these will be demonstrated in your settings. Thank you for listening today and to our other two webinars. If you would like any further information on the Play Your Part programme, please contact Olivia Brown on the details shown on screen. Thank you.